Hey everybody, my name's Seth and today I want to talk about having a Cancer personality. When you see Cancer on the Ascendant, Sun, or Moon, you start to see where Cancer affects the personality, these personality placements. Let's start off with Cancer on the Ascendant. If you have a Cancer Ascendant, it's actually a very surprisingly good place to find Cancer. Cancer is a cardinal sign, and in the first house, it's in a cardinal placement. So it's actually giving Cancer a lot of opportunity to make its own decisions the way that it likes to actually do. Cancer likes to surprisingly take control sometimes and navigate where things are going. And on the Ascendant, you will start to find this Cancer Ascendant likes to take control and navigate every once in a while. The ways that they navigate have to do with emotional comfort. The decisions that they make in their everyday lives will have to do with how they feel emotionally and what decisions will lead them towards emotional comfort and what decisions actually give them emotional comfort in the moment no matter where they lead. If you find someone with a Cancer Ascendant, they're going to give off Cancer energy on their first impression. So that means they're going to seem more reserved, reclusive, quiet, sweet, caring, and nurturing right off the bat. Now, dependent on their sun and their moon, they might not actually be that type of person. But Cancer is a receptive energy. Let's say they have a Cancer Ascendant with a fire sun and a fire moon. They're going to be a fiery Cancer. So that energy of Cancer is going to take on the energy of the other personality placements and be receptive to that and then bring that out into the outside world like the cardinal energy that it is. It'll push that outward with the decisions and the outward impression that it makes. So dependent on what's going on with the sun and moon, a Cancer Ascendant might not actually come off as reclusive, as sensitive, or as shy as an average Cancer Ascendant would. The idea of this receptiveness and that idea of how deeply a Cancer feels and how deeply a Cancer can emote is actually brought to a place of shallowness with the Ascendant. They can feel deeply, but it's not as deeply as someone with a Cancer Sun or someone with a Cancer Moon. They will feel deeply, but it will be quick. It'll kind of go by once their Sun and their Moon learns to deal with it. When they're in an emotional situation, they will react more emotionally than they actually feel. They will seem more emotional than they actually are with a Cancer Ascendant. It's more or less the most superficial side of Cancer that you can get. And Cancer, like all water signs, are deep. So superficial for a Cancer is not like superficial for a Leo or superficial for even an Aquarius or something like that. Superficial for a Cancer is still very deep compared to other signs, but it is superficial comparative to a Cancer Sun or a Cancer Moon. Let's say you have a Sun in Cancer. The Sun looks at the bare minimum of what you need for your ego to feel individualized, for it to feel respected and acknowledged. With the Sun being in Cancer, having your emotions be acknowledged makes you feel acknowledged. Having your emotions be tended to and having your emotions be comforted makes you feel respected. So you can find with someone with a Cancer Sun that they might still end up in sucky relationships because that person acknowledges their emotions yet still treats them like shit. The fact that their emotions are feeling acknowledged will actually make that Cancer Sun feel comfortable within that relationship and making them easier for them to deal with the bullshit that goes along with that relationship. So there can be some issues there. But again, you find that receptive energy of Cancer within the Sun. So if you have someone who's a Cancer Sun sign with, let's say, a fire Ascendant and an air moon, they might be the type of person that really won't put up with any type of bullshit because they're going to take how you make them feel and rationalize it. And before they even have time to rationalize it, they're going to snap on you and let all that fire free with that Ascendant and then rationalize how they feel and what you did wrong at the end of the day. The idea of Cancer's deepness and how deeply they exude emotions and are receptive to emotions is actually brought to a high point in the Sun sign. It becomes a bigger, more fixed part of their personality. It's a little bit harder for the Ascendant to change the Sun than it is for the Moon to change the Sun. If the moon is in a water sign and they have a fire ascendant, you're going to find a much shyer fire ascendant than you would any other. Because the sun, a Cancer sun, is not going to necessarily be so receptive to that ascendant. It's going to take a power like the moon to really change what's going on with Cancer. Let's say you have someone with the moon in Cancer. This person is going to be extremely receptive. This person is going to feel deeply. And their environment and their emotional comfort is now connected to their sanity. They need to feel emotionally comforted and emotionally respected and just feel as if their emotions are healthy and the emotions around them are taken care of for them to feel mentally stable. The idea of protectiveness. The moon in Cancer is in the most vulnerable spot it can be. It can be attacked from anywhere, and there's not much the moon can do to defend itself. So a moon in Cancer is going to be overly protective compared to someone with a sun in Cancer or a Cancer ascendant. Their personality is now much more protective, and they're much more private than if they were in any other personality placement. Where the moon sits, even if it's not in Cancer, is extremely important because the moon rules over Cancer. So if you're a Cancer ascendant, wherever the moon is going to affect your ascendant, depending on the sign that it's in and the house that it's in. Wherever your moon is going to affect your Cancer sun, depending on, again, the house or the sign that it's in. With your Cancer moon, the idea of how deep a Cancer can feel and how receptive a Cancer can be hits a peak. They are extremely receptive. They're just as receptive as a Cancer can really be on its own without any other planets adding on to that. And it shows. They're going to be extremely caring. They're going to be extremely moody. Everything's going to be put to an extreme. And where the moon is transiting is going to deeply affect that moon in Cancer. It will affect that Cancer sun, and it will highly affect that Cancer ascendant. It won't deeply affect that Cancer ascendant, but it will highly affect it where the moon is transiting. But it will deeply affect that Cancer moon. So let's take the information I put out today and try to understand what these mean separately and put together. Let's say, we already talked about someone with a Cancer ascendant and a fire sun and a fire moon, what would happen there. We talked about someone with a Cancer sun and a fire ascendant and an air moon, what would happen there. Now let's talk about someone with a Cancer moon, and let's say they have an earth ascendant and a fire sun. A really good mix of elements. Their sun is going to need freedom, energy, and an exchange of vitality to feel respected. Their ascendant is going to seek reliability and stability in the directions that they take their life. For them to deal with any of that and feel as if they're mentally stable is to deal with emotional comfort. Emotional comfort becomes the number one priority with the moon in Cancer. Being emotionally stable and dealing with their emotions and being flexible enough to take care of what needs to be taken care of every few days when the moon's transiting in a different sign and they have different needs. Taking care of those things become a number one priority. A number 2 or 3 priority with a sun in Cancer, and really just an effect on the day, less of a priority at all with a Cancer ascendant. So that's a Cancer personality in a nutshell. Hopefully this is informative and you guys can take this and look at these things separately and put them together like little jigsaw puzzles and try to recognize what makes up someone's personality. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Twitter, like my page on Facebook, all that other good shit, and keep up with this series because I'm definitely excited to keep putting it out there.